Welcome to Fandom Schmandom, the fandom podcast that covers everything you love and more. I'm Sierra Obermark.
And I'm Sam Williams. Today's episode, we will be simply shouting about Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 8, the finale. And without further ado, we will, as Roger Smith says, dive on in. So get up to 88, because it's time to travel back to our story recap. We open on this finale in the Battle of Starcourt, which begins. And, as per usual, everyone that just got together has split up. Hoop, Joyce, and Murray descend down to the gate. Steve, Robin, Erica, and Dustin ascend up the hill to Dustin's Cerebro to maintain radio connection with those down below. And Elle, Max, Nancy, Jonathan, Lucas, Will, and Mike neither ascend nor descend. They, in fact, fail to go anywhere, as their ignition cable has been pulled. But Billy has moved. He's sitting in his car, making no noise and pretending he doesn't exist. No, he's revving his engine like he's at the start of a Fast and Furious movie, which he kind of is, as he is both fast and furious.
It's back into the mall for Elle's company of teens, where they wait. For if Billy knows where they are, then so does the Mind Flayer. But no matter, Joyce, Hopper, and Murray have everything under control. After Hopper, punches a Russian and steals outfits, Murray uses his fluent Russian to get them deep into the base. While waiting for Murray to input a code, Joyce asks Hopper out, and Jim agrees. Yay! But Murray doesn't know math as well as he thinks he does, and Dustin has to contact Susie to get the math out of her. After a musical number, some begging, and cute preteen flirtiness, Dustin provides the code they need to get into a room, to twist some keys so they can blow up the machine and close the gate. Steve and Robin see the Mind Flayer advancing towards the mall and drive down to save them. Above them, the kiddos push a car over to get a different ignition cable and then battle against the most horrifying monster anyone has ever seen.
Yeah. Perfect.
Excellent.
It's so true. They're just like pushing this car and then, oh my god! They're like Kermit.
See?
Suddenly.
Physics.
It's like physics. Ah! The Mind Flayer, the grossness itself, is huge and deadly and looking for Elle. Lucas comes up with an idea way better than Mike ever has. Throw fireworks at the monster. It works. The fireworks explode and hurt it. Cue entry music. Standing at 5'10", at 200 pounds of pure Australian muscle, Billy Hargrove enters the ring. Thank you. He knocks out both Max and Mike before finding and delivering Elle to the grossness. Elle's powers don't seem to be working, but she manages to talk to Billy about his mom, while fireworks explode against the Mind Flayer. She brings out his inner human, and he turns against the Mind Flayer, protecting Elle, only to be killed fairly instantaneously for doing so. Below, Hoop fights Arnold Schwarzenegger and wins with another Harrison Ford reference by Temple of dooming the Schwarzenegger into the machine, but trapping Hoop in the room. Joyce has to make a decision. Kill Hoop, or have the Mind Flayer take over everyone and everything.
Well, we know how that goes. Cue myself? Dun dun dun. Or maybe not. When the machine explodes, closing the gate, destroying the Mind Flayer, and not affecting Dustin or Erica in any way, there's a shot inside the gate opening machine room where Hopper isn't there. Murray and Joyce run for it, escaping the Russians, just as Dr. Sam arrives with the cavalry of U.S. soldiers not actually on any horses. And then Time passes. They're all wearing glasses now to show that time has passed. Harper is assumed dead. Joyce has adopted Elle, and they're moving. Nancy and Jonathan have a heartfelt goodbye, and in one of the most emotional scenes in the whole show, Elle reads Hopper's note, which is both a heart-to-heart and an extremely well-written, if accidental, goodbye. And that's it. Time for all to stay safe and mourn. Meanwhile, in Kamchka, Russia, prisoners are being fed, Rancor style, to a fully evolved but starved Demogorgon.
Happiness.
Find your donut holes. It's time for our Knives Out category, where we sleuth out which 3 storylines are the most vital to pay attention to.
We got 3. Number 1, the radio tower, a.k.a. the mall crew, a.k.a. Scoop's troop. Number 2, infiltration, the adults, most notably Bald Eagle. Number 3, Billy and the Shadow Monster versus Griswold family.
So, our first storyline, the radio tower. They drive up the hill and coordinate with Bald Eagle, the mall crew being Steve, Robin, Erica, and Dustin. They direct Murray through the tunnels, but then the teens head off to save the Griswold family. They have to contact Susie to get Planck's constant because Murray can't remember math properly. It is the code to the keys in the lab, and Dustin sings a beautiful duet with girlfriend Susie, and it's adorable, and there's lots of sweeping cameras. Then they have to coordinate together with everybody else when exactly is the perfect time to close the gate when everything else is happening. They do a lot.
Yeah, they do.
So, Sam, what is most important about this storyline? Why did it make it into our top 3?
Well, it
besides
resolves...
the fact that there are 3.
There are only 3 storylines, so this one has to make it. We can't do a whole one just about Nancy's little sister again. She's the MVP. Okay. Yeah, so there's one big glaring thing about this one, which is this storyline resolves the case of the missing girlfriend, which we finally get to meet Susie, have some wonderful light-hearted jokes around, very Christian families. I think they tactfully make fun of sort of what Susie's upbringing is in a way that's both lighthearted and cute. And also very endearing, she's a very devout girl. One of the other things that this storyline does is brings us one of the reasons why Dustin's actor, whose name I can never pronounce, but Gayton is his first name, is here, which is that he was a Broadway star before he came to Stranger Things. And we get to see and hear him sing with, Dusty Buns' little girlfriend, Susie. I will also note here, I had the privilege of seeing him in Sweeney Todd with Josh Groban in New York City, and he's absolutely phenomenal. He does an incredible job in that play, and I really, really enjoyed seeing that. Also, I met his best friend. They weren't best friends at the time; they became best friends later. The guy is I forget his name, but he was dating my cousin's husband's cousin, who was a major actress on Broadway, and he was the understudy for Draco Malfoy's son in Cursed Child, and then went on to be in the cast for Sweeney Todd. Anyways, cool little factoid there. I am weirdly, very oddly connected to Gayton. Not at all. Okay, but going back to the actual story. So, we need somebody to coordinate, and it also brings us into this nice full circle moment back to why on earth we care about the fact that Dustin brings Cerebro back, right? It's not just for, hey, look, I did this cool thing. We have this nice little return to, some people call it ring theory when you sort of loop back around to something. And so I really like this moment for that reason. You get a reason to have Cerebro. You also get to keep that group together, which their chemistry has been so good. Erica, Steve, Dustin, and Robin. And that payoff for Susie is really, really good. Also, they are able to get the communication from the mall fight down to Russian HQ to be able to let people know you have to close the gate now. Which is what creates the sense of urgency that leads to Joyce having a belt loop twist, and as we think, murder Hopper. Speaking of the adults down below, we've got our second story here, Bald Eagle, which is the code name for Murray, which he just loves. So, Hop shoots the soldiers when they get downstairs and is like, I'm improvising, and he does the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like, oh, good, we're all in an outfit, everyone gets to look like a Russian, and they get into the base. While Murray goes through vents and such, Joyce asks Hopper on a date, which we love. It's nice that nobody's tricking anybody into that. Murray disables the machine, and Joyce and Hopper head in to get the keys to explode it. They don't have the right code, though, and have to get it from Susie, but make it into the control room, only to be stopped from turning the keys by the muscle man, the Russianator himself. As Hop and the actual name, Grigory, fight, Joyce tries to turn both keys, but Hop gets stuck on the other side of an electric field and knows he needs to be sacrificed. Remaining soldiers are evaporated, and the gate closes. Joyce and Murray escape as the U.S. military arrives, and that is the end of that. So, Sierra, what is the key about the storyline? Why do we care about it?
Well, it's closing the dang gate. So from a purely plot standpoint, vitally important, because this is how we are wrapping up this story. Once again, we think that Hawkins is free because we don't have any more bleed through from the upside down because this gate is closed, everybody. Definitely closed. And there's nothing else out there.
No one will ever change that.
But it is also what prompts Joyce's move, and therefore taking Jonathan, Will, and Elle along with her.
Yep.
And from a non-plot specific standpoint, and just kind of the emotional notes of the show, we get a little bit of that Joyce Hopper payoff with them agreeing to go on a date, which we've been just waiting for. However, I don't know about anybody else, but the second that date is agreed upon, I immediately have a sense of foreboding, and I know that both of them are not making it out of there. So it's almost like they doomed themselves with that. However, it's very cute. And the looks that they give each other through the window, just the non-verbal communication is really spot on and very heart-wrenching.
The window being Joyce is about to turn keys. Hopper is stuck behind. Yes. It's that moment of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. And they beat the Russians.
Yeah. So, a lot of great things you pointed out there. There's also that, like, we finally get an end to the Grigory, the Russianator storyline there. And just like, I'll see you in hell being another Harrison Ford line with the Temple of Dooming after they just really soup up the Harrison Ford in this. And like, I think it's funny that I wonder if an initial draft in the previous episode, when we talked about how one of the lines is you remind him of a fat Rambo, talking about Hopper in the way that Alexi sees him. I do wonder if at one point they're like, oh, he reminds you of a, like Clear and Present Danger, Jack Ryan Harrison Ford character, or if any other Harrison Ford character was stated first before there was like, that's probably just too much Harrison Ford. And they just went with Rambo instead. Rambo. It's fine. I've never seen those movies. I'm
learning so much about you today.
I know. I've never seen Lampoon Christmas. I've never seen Rambo. And that's it. I've seen every other movie known to mankind. No. But I do really, really, really like the coordination going on between Dustin and Hopper, which is such an unusual pairing. Like, you get Dustin on the radio to Hop, and I think that's such a neat little thing. that happens. Especially because Dustin really is in charge as soon as Steve and Robin are like, that's a monster going towards the mall. We're gonna zip down there.
Mm-hmm. And when we arrive at the mall, there's also Billy and the Shadow Monster fighting our beloved family. Billy has disabled the car, so they need to go back into the mall and find the display car and get the cable out of there. Elle also realizes that she doesn't have any powers anymore after trying to flip the car back. And then, of course, the Mind Flayer arrives. After escaping the mall and the Mind Flayer, they get to the car again with the cable, and Billy tries to ram them, but Steve arrives!
Woo!
Woo woo! And takes out Billy's car before he can reach Nancy. Everyone makes it into the car, except for Mike, Elle, and Max, who are chased by Billy. Billy knocks out Mike and Max, kidnaps Elle, and then Billy attempts to sacrifice her to the Mind Flayer. The rest arrive to shower fireworks down on the Mind Flayer in this terrifying moment. And then Elle tries so hard to reach Billy, who's trapped in his own body. She's reminding him of the day on the beach with his mother. And it works. It actually works. And Billy tries to stop the Mind Flayer, essentially just sacrificing himself instead of Elle. The gate closing cuts the Mind Flayer off, and it dies. So what is so key about all of this?
Well, it's certainly like the ultimate story happening here, which is, as much as you and I, love all the Hopper, the Joyce stuff, the Will stuff, the questions about Vecna and Will, and, as much as we love everything except for whatever's going on with Mike, this is really the ultimate storyline. So we've got this sort of Mind Flayer versus Elle moment, and I think what's neat about the storyline is it opens up a couple of questions here, which is, why does the Mind Flayer want to absorb Elle, or to insert its tube into Elle like with everybody else? Is it trying to absorb it? Will it gain more strength? Or is it going to absorb her and then bring her back to Vecna? In addition to that, Billy has not been known to be the most, self-sacrifice person. Billy, like Will in previous episodes, previous seasons, has a lot of information that he has access to. So what's going on in Billy's head that he, as soon as he's able to finally fight the Mind Flayer, is instantly like, no, I'm going to protect this person who I barely know. So that's, I think, these fascinating questions that have been brought up in the overall story, which is like, what is the Mind Flayer's plan with Elle? And what does Billy know to the fact that it's not even a question. He turns around, I'm going to save her. Instead of just like, yeah, it's in my best interest to still live and let you die.
Right. I think it definitely brings up a lot of those questions, and it really just hits home again the idea of this has been built for Elle, and that we still don't fully know what that means. What does it mean?
What does it mean? Oh, just like Vader when he's spinning in A New Hope. What?
What?
What? Keep your finger on the pause button and rewind that tape. It's the Prestige category. For what did we notice on this watch through?
Jim is rocking that pastel Hawaiian shirt.
I gotta say, when the police officer says at the beginning, that's too much color for you, Chief, when he's down in the Russian base, like when he's in those blue lighting in the elevator and when he's at the mall, I'm like, this guy looks dang good.
It is quite a look and excellent. And
he pulls it off. Him. It's great.
He should just wear that shirt. But then he changes into a stupid Russian uniform almost immediately.
Outfit. Well, he couldn't, chance that shirt being blown up.
This is fair.
He can die, but the shirt must survive.
There's a filler episode like Breaking Bad's Fly that's just the perspective of the shirt.
as it gets folded up and brought to a thrift store and then not bought until the 90s, and then they ruin and spoil everything about what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
Or it ends up somewhere and when eventually Elle finds it or something.
Yeah, totally. I'd forgotten how much Elle and company's story is a little bit filler for a second. Like, it takes a minute until the Mind Flayer gets there, and they're just kind of like, well, I guess we'll go outside to the car. Oh, the car doesn't work. All right, we'll pop the hood. Okay. Well, your ignition cable's gone. Oh, that sucks. Vroom, vroom. Oh, no, I think that's Billy over there. Let's go back in the mall. Okay. I guess the Mind Flayer's gonna show up. Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, let's get the ignition cable from over here. Yeah, totally. That sounds great. Push over car. Physics. And then the monster shows up. But it's just kind of this weird lead up to it.
It really is odd. Yeah, it does. It takes a little bit for that plot line to get going.
And I think it's paced properly. Like, I have no complaints about it. It's just like, when you kind of separate it out, like, if you were to just watch that, if you were to have watched that whole thing first, and then the monster gets there, and then you cut to everything else, and it was all just, like, a triptych where it's all one thing, and then the battle starts, you would be sitting there being like, what is this?
What are they doing?
What is happening?
So, once the Mind Flayer does get there, after they've pushed the car over and the action starts, the Mind Flayer, the grossness, knows enough about walkie-talkies to roar into it and then throw it.
Not only that, but it hits the button. Because you have to hit the button to talk.
It hits the button to roar into it and then chucks it.
It has the, fine motor skills to hit that small of a button. Is it, using its little alien hand thing that comes out to, and hit the button? I know. It is really funny to just have it go, at the mic, and Dustin's just like, hey, is that static?
That doesn't sound great.
It doesn't sound wonderful. Yeah, that is a particularly odd part. I mean, it's really fun in watch, but when you separate it out and you're like, I guess it would know because, it absorbed people who've used walkie-talkies before, but, come on. Maybe
Why would it think to even do that in the moment?
It's got residual will memories. And so it's like, I know all you suckers are on this channel. Maybe it thinks that the others have their walkie-talkies on too, so it's trying to find them by hearing the roars pop up. That's a terrible theory, but it's there. All right, so big question here. Mm-hmm. I even after all of season 4, which is about healing Elle's power for her storyline, I still don't understand why Elle's powers aren't working. And it really bothers me because I feel really stupid. I'm clearly missing core concept.
I also do not understand. So we're either dumb together.
Yeah, great.
Or it's not fully explained because I actually started kind of crowdsourcing some information on this.
Right, me too.
And yeah, there's no concrete anything. Everybody's got assumptions and guesses, and maybe it was because of the physical injury, maybe it was because of the actual part of the Mind Flayer that ended up in her leg, that it infected her. Maybe it is
dead
just
battery.
Because of the dead battery, the proximity. There's so many different theories, but it does really bother me that season 4 doesn't answer it.
It doesn't. In a satisfying way.
Right. Which
whatever
is very
Dr. Brennan's just you've got a wound that needs healing, and then it's a mental wound and a memory wound, and then her powers come back, and I'm like, but it's not like she faced Vecna right here. She faces the mind.
No.
The thing that makes most sense to me is that she dead batteried, and that killed it. And that in order to get her memory, her powers back, she needed her full self. But it's not explained in any satisfying way. And so when I sometimes think about hey, could I win a debate? And with this, I could not win a debate. There's not enough information. Right. No one in my mind could win the debate on this. Other than the writers, like, obviously, but.
Well, yeah. I would hope.
One would hope. Or it'll be like.
One would hope.
The Lost writers being like, well, we don't know what's wrong with Walt.
Again, Dacre's facial acting.
Yeah.
When he is running Nancy down is amazing because it's full Mind Flayer takeover.
Yeah.
But again, you can see the tiny bit of Billy still in there.
Yeah.
And just the little moment where he looks absolutely terrified to be doing what he's doing, which in hindsight, now that I'm really thinking about it, he was fully ready to run over 3 small children, but now is a little concerned about running over Nancy.
Well, I don't think it's so much about Nancy. I mean, the crumple zones on 1970s cars are not very good. And so I think like there's a legitimate chance of and I don't know if that car has airbags or not. They're not, standard in the 70s. So like the idea of like 70 miles an hour ramming into that car,
Another
even if
car,
he misses Nancy, I feel like, oh, death might be upon me is going on his mind.
That
and then,
as well.
Of course, then Steve hits him and everyone walks away from that accident. So what do I know?
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't look great after.
He does not.
Definitely
That's true.
some injury happening. But yeah. But it's crazy though. It just keeps going and this man needs to be hired, in my opinion.
So speaking of something that keeps on going, the Harrison Ford stuff in season 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's a lot, and we've pointed out a bunch of them. There's way more. If like people can go through season 3 and just be like Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford for Hop.
Yeah,
and the writers even talked about it way back when they were like, is Hop dead? I mean, everyone keeps saying he's Harrison Ford, and is Harrison Ford dead at the end of Empire? And everyone's like, oh, okay, so he's alive then. Because no, Harrison Ford is not, and neither is Han Solo.
Yeah,
but do you love it or hate it? All the Harrison Ford stuff.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, good. Me too.
Yeah, I love it. I loved it back in season 2 when he did the hat grab.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones hat grab. Totally.
Yeah. And I do really enjoy, it might be a silly thing, but when movies or shows put in references that are almost like a scavenger hunt for me to find while I'm watching, I do very much enjoy that. Yeah, especially if they're fun things that work with the character and blend into the landscape.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely, I very much enjoy all of the little moments and pinpointing them and going, that's the, insert Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood pointing at himself in the
Absolutely. So I liken it to, because some people don't like it. I liken it to, sometimes you get cover bands, right? People who only play other people's music.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be very good. They can even play some songs really, like, as well or even better sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And then you get bands that do covers. So I'm thinking, like, Panic at the Disco covered Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And that's phenomenal, especially when they get to the breakdown, the guitar solo, where they just go, like, very Panic at the Disco-y on it. But I would liken, like, Hopper's sort of Harrison Ford stuff that David Harbour pulls off so well to when Smash Mouth covered the Monkees for I Thought Love Was Only True. And then I have to stop there or else we'll get sued. Love was out to ba-da-da-ba, all that stuff. And like that, I mean, everyone knows that from Shrek. So like that Smash Mouth cover of the Monkees is a better song. And like this is, no one will ever top Harrison Ford, but David Harbour's use of those Harrison Ford moments, I think just elevates the show in a really great way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Here's another question for you though. Turning back to Billy, the Australian man. Why doesn't the grossness itself absorb Billy when he turns tailcoat instead of killing him? I
think because it's an in the moment decision and the grossness has lost control over Billy. and is angry about it.
Oh, interesting. So you don't think it can disintegrate him because it lost control?
No, I think it can't. No, I think
Okay.
he lost control over Billy because none of the other ones were willing participants either.
Yeah.
So I think that he has lost control over Billy. Billy is standing up against it. And so the Mind Flayer is angry about that and just is lashing out. Basically going back to kind of like a baser instinct,
Lizard
more
brain.
of an animalistic
Right.
quality.
Lizard
Yeah.
brain. Yeah, okay.
Of how dare you defy me, and then I'll show you what happens to those who defy me type of a thing. Also, I think at this point, potentially, Billy has been injured and beaten and bruised and potentially has outlived his usefulness. And so there may not be anything that the Mind Flayer stands to gain by absorbing him.
Oh, a little extra meat. Never hurt.
Eh.
Little new Billy arm. Punch from Billy.
Extra little tentacle.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. It's not much matter that he would be adding. Okay. I accept your thing.
This is a very random thing that is not in our plan to discuss. However, I just want to mention that I think the Shadow Monster looks like the creature in Attack of the Clones that
Yeah, absolutely.
Ewan
100%.
McGregor faces.
Yeah, it's 100%. I thank you for saying it. I've been thinking it for like 10 years.
Yes.
It is. It's absolutely. It's that, but just thicker.
I feel like, yeah, exactly. I keep wanting to mention it and then I forget to mention it. And so I just was picturing it in my head and I was going, it really does.
It really does.
It really looks like that.
Good.
But anyway, this time the Mind Flayer dies when the gate is closed, but it didn't last time. Why? Is this because the Russians were already opening the gate when El closed that one because they were already experimenting and they
Yes.
just hadn't come to Hawkins yet?
I think that's no. They are in Hawkins. So this is one of the reasons why we did that little breakdown at the beginning of the season. They're there summer of 1984.
Mm-hmm.
October of 84 is when season 2 occurs. So they when they say 1 year later, they're already in Hawkins, opening up the gate.
Interesting. Okay.
That's my assumption. I know that they were like, we had to move, and I think they'd already moved and were starting to make it work in Hawkins, which is why the Shadow Monster was still able to be there.
Got it. So there was just enough of a second gate open.
Yeah. A smidgen. Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Otherwise the Shadow Monster shouldn't die. Also, to your Attack of the Clones reference, keep both season 2 and season 3, I'm like, why aren't they making any Phantom Menace references? To like, oh, you kill all the main computer, and they all should, oh, right, that's 1999. They're nowhere near it coming out. They've barely seen Return of the Jedi. Anyways, yeah, I think that's why.
Okay. I accept this premise. So, after everything has completed, and Hopper is presumed dead, we all end up outside the mall, and everybody's coming together to find each other, to see who has survived and who has not.
Yeah.
And this struck me as odd, because for how much Joyce has been a mom to Elle over the last 3 seasons, ever since the saltwater pool and really just being there to support her, I would have thought that she would offer some comfort, that Joyce would offer Elle comfort instead of just staring at her sadly while she hugs Will. Like, Hopper was very important to Joyce. Arguably a lot more important to Elle.
Yeah.
Who has now just lost yet another parent, and arguably the only parent that she has known and has cared for her.
Yeah.
And Joyce just kind of awkwardly stares at her.
I think
It's very weird.
I think this is a writing contrived moment, to specifically illustrate what Hopper's death means for the loneliness of Elle. And so you see, I think you can make the argument that this is a moment that Joyce is now realizing that she's going to need to be the one to take Elle in. And so you're seeing her observe Elle, looking how lonely she is and doing that. Now, it may be that 10 seconds later, she goes and hugs her and takes care of her, but they cut. This isn't quite Force Awakens Leia Chewie Han moment where Han's dead and Leia doesn't even go to hug Chewie or anything, right? Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just that, because I think in actuality Joyce would be very aware and would absolutely take care of Elle in tandem with Will.
Mm-hmm. I kept expecting her to gesture her over and kind of usher her into this new family they are about to create.
I would have loved that moment. I would have loved a second longer to have her gesture and Elle to come over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In addition to that, why is it that Mike can't be nice to anybody except for Elle? Because I like the way that he treats Elle at the end of this episode. He's so in tune with kind of her needs, emotional needs. And then when he comes in and sees her trying, he is not Mr. Negative. He's not Mr. Consolatory. He's not Mr. Let's empathize and sympathize and be mournful. He comes in and is joyful and is all about how can we make the future better. And it's such a great Mike moment. But I'm like, where is this for everyone else? You're a constant jerk. And then suddenly you're great. Yeah. And I just be better, Mike.
Mm-hmm. We get... I will say, this is not the only time that I feel this.
Yeah.
Because there's at least one other time that I can think of in season 4 where I feel this exact same thing, where I go, wow, he actually can discuss things with Elle in a kind of mature way, and he knows how to bring things up with her and whatnot. However, where has this been?
Yeah. For real.
Why are you being so mean to everybody else? Poor Will.
Poor Will indeed. Poor Will indeed. It's fine. We'll get to that next season. Dear Lord. Okay.
But before we get there, you don't have to face down a horde of angry soldiers all by yourself.
Oh.
Buckle up, Schmisseners, because it's our Sansa is smarter than Jon category for what is the most important character moment of this episode. I have a caveat on my selection.
That one thing could win everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, there are two that we will discuss in the most important, most iconic category.
Yeah.
And I put both of them out of the running for most important character moment.
Yeah.
To leave them for the other categories.
Yeah.
So, besides those, I believe that it is Elle attempting to use her powers against Billy, even though she doesn't have them anymore, and she's already tested them.
Yeah, I think that really doubles down on this. Like, her powers are done. Like, this is, they have to figure this out sans magic. Right? This is, if Harry Potter had a bunch of muggle friends, they need to figure out how to take down Voldemort without his powers. Like, that's what's happening here. And I think that really sets expectations for the watcher on first watches to be like, wait, something's seriously wrong. And so we're not caught off guard when time passes and everyone's wearing glasses and she can't get down the teddy bear.
Yes. And I also think it brings up the fact that Elle is so reliant on her powers as well. And that is still her go-to, and the first thing that she thinks of when in a dangerous situation or when she needs something is to use her powers. And she can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ugh.
I know you just lost a hand, but listen up. It's time for the I am your father category for most iconic character moment. Sierra, what you got?
So again, besides the two in another category, I am going with Steve racing away to save the rest, smashing into Billy's car. I do have an honorable mention, which is as a visual, just an iconic sequence, not necessarily character moment, but an iconic visual and sequence would be the Mind Flayer lit up by fireworks.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the thing that sticks in my head the most when I think about this season is the shadow monster bearing down and the fireworks all going off around it and being illuminated by it and everything. So That's my honorable mention, but my pick is Steve smashing into Billy's car.
You know, I really like that moment, and it's funny because I think that the Steve moment is actually not the most iconic part of that. It's the Billy moment that we'd already discussed, where he's looking at him. And so, it's an important moment for Steve, certainly, to risk his life and also Robin's life to save everybody else. It's such a turnaround, as we've continuously seen since season 1, Steve. And continues to hammer down at just how good of a man he is. Mm-hmm. And so when Nancy is sort of spouting off about all of Jonathan's wonderful qualities at the beginning of season 4, Steve is actually all of those things in this episode.
Right.
But this to me isn't even Steve's most iconic moment of the season.
Fair.
So to me, the thing that's iconic when I think people think like of Season 3, it's the musical number. It's Dustin and it's Susie with the sweeping cameras and the silliness and the flirtiness and the why are they doing this in the middle of there's genuine questions about why is this written this way, but also why is Dustin okay with singing this song when everybody's about to die? But also that song topped the charts during that week.
So you'll kind of hate me for this.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately did not remember that the musical number existed until rewatching it. So for me, it's not exceptionally iconic. Yeah, for me, it's not iconic.
Okay.
Because I didn't remember. But I can see how it could be for others.
Yes, great. I will take the win.
We'll pry it.
I will pry it from your cold, dead hands.
Cold, dead hands.
As you slowly get absorbed into the grossness.
Yes. Everybody, sit down. It's time for our I Am Iron Man award. Most iconic and most important scene. I have an honorable mention, and I will explain why it is my honorable mention and not the winner in between the honorable mention revealing the winner.
Okay.
Honorable mention goes to Hopper sacrificing himself to close the gate.
Yes, I agree.
Why I do not think that this deserves the win is because ultimately the impact of Hopper's death, while devastating, does not really affect the current story.
Correct.
So it is an unfortunate incident, but he's not, it's kind of sacrificing, but it's not really sacrificing.
Yeah.
He's not making a choice really, because it's either Joyce is really the one who's making the choice to sacrifice him.
Right.
And so but I don't think that for her either, it's not like his death causes something else to happen.
Right.
That progresses the story.
It causes Joyce to move and bring Elle out to California, which then elongates her process back to Hawkins. But still, to your point, it changes the fact that Elle wasn't there to take on Vecna immediately. But it doesn't really, Hopper is still alive.
Yes. So that is why the winner of this category is Billy, sacrificing himself to the Mind Flayer to protect Elle.
I think that entire
the rest.
I think that entire sequence is definitely most important and most iconic scene. It's the lead up to, right? It's bringing Elle over. It's talking to Billy about his mom. It's the kids throwing fireworks and being out, and this group effort to try and take something down to buy them time. And then it's Billy having that turnaround moment. And unfortunately, his turnaround moment, unlike Steve's, is not long-lived. So he gets to play the hero for a second and then is killed in front of Max, which is a horrifying moment. And one of the things that starts off season 4. This makes, unlike Hopper's death, which does have some impact on season 4, this has the major impact on season 4. Vecna is targeting Max specifically over this ordeal with Billy.
Yes, exactly.
And just like you said, the colors. So I would be super happy to, for most iconic character moments, swap out musical number for Hopper sacrificing himself, because I think that definitely deserves to win some.
That is fair. I will take that swap.
Awesome. Crack open an encyclopedia. As Elijah Wood once said, no. How could we have known? Here we'll be discussing the most important information disseminated to the fandom in this final episode.
Elle can lose her connection to her abilities via injury, general trauma, infection, questions abound.
Questions abound indeed. This is for real a big deal. Yes. Because it's still, to my satisfaction, and it seems to most of the hardcore Stranger Things internet faction, has not been sufficiently answered as to how, who, what, when, why. Now, as we've been watching, I've been texting Sierra, as Sierra's been texting me, and we've been talking about a lot of stuff, and I am now sort of firmly of the opinion that Will has powers. And so this has even more ramifications if there's two people with powers. If Will is going to end up being 12, essentially. Or even if 8 comes back, which I don't see happening for season 5, but who knows. And I think
interesting.
One of them is going to join Vecna's side, I think. Most likely Will, but possibly Elle. And if you can remove the power of somebody, this could mean some sort of big thing. Or the writers are just leaving it as B, and we kind of dealt with it as we dealt with it in season 4, which would be disappointing. But it is a big deal.
It is. It could leave a lot for the plot to continue, and could really, as you said, have those ramifications should someone else find out exactly how Elle has lost her powers and then be able to use that purposefully.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The promotional material for season 5 just recently came out, in the real world, not when you're hearing this episode, listener. The Will poster, he has the red shaded eyes that they give Elle at the end of season 1 when I went, what? Why does she have those eyes? So I really think that there's something coming of this. It also might be that, they sort of avatar to Fire Lord Vecna, where they take away his bending, so to speak, with what they've learned from Elle losing her powers. So who knows? The other big piece of information disseminated here is the fact that humans under the grossness, the Mind Flayer spell, can be brought back by appealing to their humanity. There is a bunch of speculation in people who are big D&D fans, because Vecna is, unlike the Mind Flayer, Vecna is a real character in D&D.
Yes.
Vecna has an undead assistant that likes bats, I think, and has a sword, and he ultimately is the one who stabs Vecna, sort of like the Kingslayer from Game of Thrones moment. And a lot of people think that Eddie Munson might return as this undead assistant to Vecna, where he's under his spell. And so I wonder, too, if this information of like, hey, you can appeal to their humanity in a real meaningful way. Max tries to do it, right? But she just lifts off facts. Your name's Billy Hardgrove, you live here, like that sort of stuff.
Right.
Elle appeals to the memory, this precious memory of Billy. And that, I think, might make some appearances in season 5.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Keep your horses safe. It's the, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse category of best lines. We don't know it's your kids. Yes, we do.
Is that Murray and Joyce and Hopper?
Murray and Joyce, yeah. Murray, we don't know that it's your kids. Yes. They know their kids. They know they're involved. Great, nice, heartbreaking one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lily's last words.
Yeah.
Ugh. So sad.
Harrowing.
And then this one. For the sake of your dear old dad, keep the door open 3 inches.
Just as a quick
crying.
As a quick aside here, I think this is my favorite Millie Bobby Brown acting moment. I found her acting around reading this letter nuanced and incredible. I'm emotionally affected by her acting, not just David Harbour's killer line readings as the voiceover.
So fantastic.
And I think, honestly, of all the lines here, I think that's probably the best one. It's so... I don't know. At the end of the movie Order of the Phoenix, Harry has that awesome line where he's like, we've got one thing Voldemort doesn't. Oh, what's that, Harry? Something worth fighting for. And that line and this line here, for the sake of your dear old dad, keep the door open 3 inches, has that same sort of conclusion in this melancholy moment of, no, not everybody won, but we can move forward.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have one for you, which is Harrison Ford, Jim Hopper coming in and, I'll see you in hell before he throws the Russian-egger into the machine.
So good.
That's great. So, dust off that card deck and get ready to shuffle. It's our Joker category for who is the MVP of this finale.
This is probably the toughest MVP for me for a number of reasons. Dustin, Jonathan, Nancy, Steve, Billy, Joyce, Hopper, Murray, and even Susie all very realistically contribute to the success of closing the gate and keeping as many of them alive as possible. Erica, Will, Max, Mike, Robin, Lucas, and Elle are all kind of just along for the ride, except for Elle's redeeming Billy moment, I guess. So I'll put her back into the top category. But I think I have to go with Joyce, which seems like an odd decision, but she does a 2-man job alone, figuring out how to turn both keys at the same time, is able to get the gate closed successfully, and sacrifices yet another person that she loves in order to do what needs to be done. And as much as I really wanted to give it to one of our sacrificing men, or even some of the others who really help and contribute, or like Elle, who...
Yeah, gets Billy to turn. Lucas, who gets the fireworks plan going.
Yep.
Yeah. Not Mike.
I mean, they all have so many things, but I really feel like Joyce overall has to make the hardest decision, has to push through the most amount of fear.
Yeah.
And really just gets it done. She does exactly everything that she needs to do. She asks Hop out.
Yeah, she does.
Man, all of those things, I think she wins.
It's so nice to get to just a solitary episode when we do these finales, because it's so captured in just one moment. So I'm going to run through a couple of different things. First of all, there may be some listeners out here who at this point are having fun with our pound for pound MVP conversations. And I would like to say Susie may seem like a pound for pound MVP candidate, but most of her screen time is actively not contributing and delaying the process so that she makes Dustin sing and almost gets everybody killed. So I would say pound for pound, she's the LVP.
Yes, I would also agree.
Although Mike would be close. Physics.
Physics.
Oh gosh. Hopper has a chance here in this race. He's really the driving force behind getting the gate closed up until Joyce gets in the room. He improvising, gets them the uniforms. He's communicating constantly with Dustin. He takes out Russian-egger, and then he's willing to sacrifice himself. He gives permission to Joyce to do that.
Yeah.
And then he has the emotional, he does a lot of emotional lifting with his letter and the voiceover in terms of, helping the episode really nail their ending. So he's really close. Billy, he's been our host favorite for this entire season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has that incredible moment in the car. He has the awesome moments of running in there and knocking them out and getting Elle and being completely covered in completely. It looks like all of his blood vessels are black at one point. He's got this awesome makeup. His acting's fantastic. Mm-hmm. He's super spooky. Like, it's just so good in so many different ways, shapes, or forms.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he sacrifices himself and saves Elle. So the only reason why people have a shot at taking out Vecna is because he stands in the way.
Right.
But also, like, I sense season 1 is wild because I don't remember now, actually. We should keep track of this. Who won MVP. But, like, I've been kind of, like, a little, like, we should have figured out a way to give Joyce the MVP in season 1 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because and maybe we did for the first episode, because her acting, especially in that, like, cold fall weather and the way that we're doing spookiness, her acting at the beginning of that show really helps sell a lot of the horror elements and the, like, conspiracy elements. And I've always been like, oh man, like, we need to get Joyce a win. And I think you're right. I think the 2-man person willing to sacrifice closing the gate kind of seals it, but it's a hard one. This is definitely the hardest MVP conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'd like to look at the advanced metrics on, like, true shooting percentage and stuff like that.
I had to know before we moved on if we actually had given her an MVP. We did not. In fact, there was a specific moment in episode 1 where we said, sorry, Joyce, it's not your time yet. All you've done is yell and axe a wall.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad.
Yay.
Super happy about that.
Clean your evil air and get ready for our I was the turkey all along category for what is the biggest takeaway viewers should leave with in preparation for season 5.
Yeah.
We've said it, and it remains to be so. Elle's powers are not constant. Apparently, even as a battery that needs charging, eventually she can become a dead battery. We think question.
Yeah, we think question. Keep all of that in mind. That entire conversation around Elle's dead battery fix with memory cure, ? We will explore more in season 4.
Today's public service announcement. Demogorgons don't make good pets. Talking to you, Rooskies. Thank you, listener schmissoners, for listening to this episode of Fandom Schmandom. If you'd like to touch base with us about this episode or any other episode we've done, please hit us up on our social media channels. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Fandom Schmandom Pod and on X at Fandom_Schmandom.
Please don't forget to rate and review us if you liked the episode. It really helps with the algorithm placing us in front of other like-minded schmissioners out there. And with that, we're out, y'all.
Don't forget to tip your self-sacrificing men.
And fare thee well.
Fandom Schmandom was created by Sam Williams and Sierra Obermark. The show is produced by Aurelia Lieb. The editor is Brittany Fisher. The music is by Jeremiah Alves.
Before I read this, I just really like that juxtaposition so much. Like, the kiddos push a car to get over an addiction cable, and then battle against the most horrifying monster anyone has ever seen.
Yep. So this super simple thing that takes so long. And then, oh my god.
Yeah. I was reminded when I wrote that line, I was reminded of, what's it called? The Harry Potter musical, when they're doing the dragons, and it's like, oh, the cute snowball dragon, the twig dragon, and then he's like, the Hungarian horde tail, the most terrifying monster anybody's ever seen. That's how I wrote that line. The Mind Flayer is huge and deadly, and it's disgusting, and looking for Elle. Lucas.
The grossness itself.
Grossness, right? That's what we called it. Okay. What did I say last episode? It's like, the Mind Flayer is gross and it's coming for you. Oh, God, we're never going to get through this episode. We've had 8 Who's ever editing this is like, dear God.
We haven't even gotten past the first page.
They're still on the story recap? It's just the ending of that D&D session really tickled me.
It was
Yes,
so
find
ridiculous.
the Energizer Bunnyman. He'll know everything we need to know about technology.
Yes, the giant pink bunny wearing sunglasses is and beating a drum is very much exactly who we need. Okay, Sam, time to get the wiggles out.
Actually, that is weirdly helpful. Okay.
I
All right, here we go.
legitimately have to do that with Kenzie sometimes.
Yeah,
When I'm
sure.
trying to get her to pay attention to me and she's like in all
Great.
different directions, I'll be like,
We've
okay,
already,
Kenz,
we've
you
already
stay
gotten to
up.
the stage of Sierra using toddler tricks to get me to behave. I thought we'd at least get to the second season before that needed to occur.
That's what we get for recording every episode at like almost midnight.
I know. All right, here we go.
You said cute entry.
Yeah, and then the entry was done, and we went for another beat of 8.
But it was still.
You're like a
after pure
triangle player
Australian
thinking that they can
muscle,
do a
it should
solo
stop.
in a jazz song. Below, Hoop fights Arnold Schwarzenegger and wins with another Harrison Ford reference. I don't know why it took us so long to call him Schwarzenegger. It's such a good name. I've been, I had like Arnold Russian Terminator Motorcycle Man. Like there was a bunch of iterations, and I really should have just workshopped it a little bit more because Arnold Schwarzenegger is perfect.
It's perfect.
Okay,
It also sounds like a drink. Russian
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like I don't know why it reminds me of like Gatorade.
It's Arnold. It's an Arnold Palmer, but instead of lemonade, it's just vodka.
I feel like there needed to be some sort of like sting, music sting right there. Demogorgon.
No, it's got to be super happy.
Womp, womp, womp. 'Cause I'm happy feeling love. No, don't put that in there. No copyright.
Don't sue us. It's
Don't
parody.
sue us.
Because
Please don't
we're
sue
not
us,
happy.
please.
It's a Demogorgon going to eat our little guts. This is parody. I said it in the thing, so you can't sue us. Because we're not happy. There's a Demogorgon. It's really muscular, not anymore. Because it's been starved by the Russian niggers. He's still alive. That's a total lie. Okay, here we go. Shout out to Emma for only knowing Livin' La Vida Loca from Shrek 2. You do not have to put that in the episode, but I had a friend who was like, I was like, you know Ricky Martin, he did Livin' La Vida Loca, and she's like almost 10 years younger than us. And she was like, oh yeah,
no.
from Shrek 2. And I was like, oh my god, what?
It's wild.
I know, it was crazy. Shout out to Emma.